Chad runs into Kat at the hospital when she brings in Felicity for a fever and rash. Sarah reports that Felicity has strep throat and leaves to call in a prescription. Chad waits for it so Kat can get her sister home. When Chad brings Felicity's medication to the apartment, Kat gets dizzy. He feels her forehead, which is burning up, and stays to care for the sisters. Kat takes her temperature, which is 103, the same as Felicity's. When Chad leaves the room for ibuprofen, Kat texts Rafe under his pseudonym, James Smith, that she can't make their meeting tomorrow and lies on the couch. Chad returns and places a towel on Kat's forehead as she sleeps. She mumbles, "I should have told you." He assumes it's just a dream and leans in close, telling her to get some rest. She opens her eyes and pulls him in for a kiss. After mailing a gift to Tate's baby's adoptive parents, along with a request for the teen to see her, Brady bumps into Sarah in the square. She expresses surprise when he mentions Chicago and flashes back to discovering Sophia lied about the sex of the baby. Brady detects something's off, but Sarah covers. He invites her to the bistro for dinner since they're both free for the night. At the bistro, a flirtatious Gabby empties a wine bottle into Xander's glass and orders another bottle. Xander gulps his drink as Gabby gasses him up over the Dimera takeover and commiserates over feelings of self-doubt. However, it's just a pathway to digging for answers on what he did to end his marriage. Xander admits he did something he deeply regrets, and Sarah did something he can never forgive. Gabby suggests it's time to move on, then, and plants a smoldering kiss on him as a stunned Sarah enters with Brady. Xander notices Sarah and breaks off the kiss, while Sarah insists to Brady that they don't need to find another place to eat. Xander panics over hurting Sarah, but Gabby insists he did nothing wrong, especially since Sarah is with Brady. Xander's sad sack demeanor hardens. She's right. His marriage may be over, but his life isn't. He takes another gulp of wine as Gabby smugly smiles to herself. Later, Gabby digs for information about Xander's relationship with Philip, but he's too busy drinking and being distracted by Sarah, who reaches for Brady's hand at their table. Furious, Xander knocks over his chair as he storms over to criticize her for not being home with Victoria. "I want my daughter back. Now!" Sarah furiously reminds him that Victoria is with their nanny. They have a custody schedule, and Xander is in no shape to be around her. Therefore, Xander can spend his free time making out with whoever he wants. "And so can I!" she exclaims, and pulls Brady into a kiss. Xander's mouth drops, and his eyes go wide. In court, Belle jumps up, calling EJ's motion for a mistrial absurd. EJ defends his motion to Judge Dabney, who calls a recess. After sending Johnny and the jury out, the judge calls EJ a hypocrite, since, he has a conflict of interest as well, seeing as he's in the same relationship as the prosecutor. Belle also points out that their relationship is the least of the conflicts of interest in this case, since EJ is Johnny's father and the victim. "And you're the defendant's aunt," the judge adds, but she knew of those conflicts. And since EJ waived his right to any objections, she suggests he stop the theatrics. She denies his motion for a mistrial. Belle goes on the record stating that their relationship will no longer be a conflict of interest, since, as of this moment, we are no longer involved. The judge releases the jury for the day and threatens to hold both counselors in contempt should they waste any more of the court's time. Belle storms out. A humiliated Belle rushes to the corridor, where Johnny fills in Marlena. Johnny returns to the courtroom, demanding answers from his father for the way he treated Aunt Belle. EJ insists he didn't have a choice since Belle was turning the jury against him. He will not apologize for trying to put a stop to that. Johnny softens and urges his father not to let this case ruin his happiness with Belle. EJ assures him he's the only one to blame. The Dimera men return to the corridor as Belle tells Marlena she will never forgive EJ for what he just did to her. A contrite EJ starts to speak, but Mama Bear Marlena shuts him down. Belle assures her mother she's fine and leads EJ into the empty courtroom. She lashes out at EJ for not caring about anyone who gets in the way of what he wants. "We are done. You are dead to me, EJ Dimera. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, Recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Leo is a juror, right? So, where the heck is he? When Belle and EJ first picked Salem's 21st Century Calliope Jones for the jury, we were giddy with excitement and thought this would be the best soap trial we had seen in years. After all, Days of Our Lives finally sprang for a courthouse set, made the prosecutor the defendant's aunt, and made the victim of the crime and father of the defendant the defense attorney. And then, the show put Leo on the jury. What could be better than that? The problem is, we don't ever see him. How much more delicious would this week have been if we saw Leo's facial reactions to the courtroom drama, especially the moment when EJ asked for a mistrial because he forced Johnny to tell the court that Belle was his girlfriend. The judge even directly addressed the jury after that moment, but we were not allowed to see our favorite juror. While it was nice to hear Leo lament about how boring the trial was and how he felt it needed a program like a Broadway musical, actually seeing him during the court proceedings would have been much more fun. One can only hope that the show finally uses Leo correctly next week as the trial continues, especially during deliberations, because there's no doubt that would be quite a hoot. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full DOOL recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 8th, 2025. Gabi continues to put on a good act, pretending she is interested in Xander just to get information from him about Titan Demera. Xander has been looking at Gabi suspiciously, but she hasn't cared. In fact, she is ready to go in for the kill, so she plants a big kiss on Xander right as Sarah and Brady walk in. Xander is shocked, but Sarah is horrified. She can't believe Xander could move on so quickly. Especially when they both admitted they still love each other just the other day. Sarah knows she has to do something fast, so she pulls Brady in for a kiss. It looks like a kissing contest at the bistro as Sarah and Xander attempt to make the other jealous. Brady is stunned and not sure what to do, but Xander might just decide to go for broke with Gabi. He had better be careful, as that is just what Tony and Anna want. Xander's next move could cost him Dimera Enterprises for good. After EJ exposes their affair in court and asks for a mistrial, Belle is furious. She never expected EJ to make such a move after they just had such an enjoyable time at the Salem Inn while court was in recess. Belle unleashes her fury at EJ, who has a whole lot of explaining to do. Did EJ choose that tactic because Belle brought up the circumstances behind Johnny's conception? EJ had promised Johnny she would never do such a thing before Johnny took the stand. It was easy to see that EJ was fuming when Belle just did her job properly. Now, the relationship that EJ exposed might be over. Belle will have a hard time forgiving EJ for his stunt in court. On top of everything else she has already forgiven this year. Could Johnny's case be the nail in the coffin for Belle and EJ's unusual romance? Sammy said it was doomed from the start, and she just may have been right. Here's how next week in Salem will go down. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of August 11 to 15, 2025. Tease trying times at Johnny's trial. Johnny's trial has allowed EJ's true colors to shine, all to save his son. He's already thrown Belle under the bus for their secret relationship, and now he's about to put Marlena in the middle. The week will start with Marlena taking on a new client, and with EJ having a session with EJ on Tuesday. Odds are, he's the client in question. But things will take a turn mid-week when EJ serves his psychiatrist with a subpoena. Meanwhile, while Belle talks things out with Johnny, Chanel will make a big decision: take the fall for her husband. She's already a suspect after the doctored video, so taking the fall may be the only way to save Johnny's closest relationships. As if this trial couldn't get dramatic enough, Leo will end the week getting to know his juror roommate. Could it be someone familiar to Salem, or a whole new character to stir up some chaos? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Friday, August 8th imply some bombshells on the horizon in Salem. Someone reaches their last straw with a loved one, while another makes a manipulative move, and a character gets shocking news. What's set to go down on Friday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Friday, August 8th hint that Belle Black may reach her last straw with E.J. DiMera. The two had a secret rendezvous during the Thursday, August 7th show, and now it looks like E.J. will use that against her where Johnny DiMera's case is concerned. Belle is set to lash out at her boyfriend. So is this finally the end of the road for these two? Speaking of Johnny, his grandmother, Marlena Evans, will be on hand to offer some comfort to him during this challenging time. Not surprising at all, but Gabby Hernandez will do all she can to get Xander Kyriakis to reveal some secrets. Gabby is on a mission to gather intel for Tony DiMera. So will she be successful at getting Xandy to spill some beans? Fans will have to tune in to find out. In other news, Chad DiMera will take care of Kat Green. Thanks to their elevator lockup, these two are back on track to bonding. So how close will they get on the August 8th episode? Only time will tell. Finally, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday note that Brady Black will get shocking news from Sarah Horton Kyriakis. At this point, this could be about anything. However, it's hard not to think that this might be about Sophia Choi and Tate Black's baby. After all, Sarah had a sneaking suspicion that Sophia had been lying, and as her physician, she was spot on. Sophia didn't tell Sarah much, but did let her know her baby was safe, and due to HIPAA, Sarah now can't say anything. With that said, will she bend the rules for Brady and Tate's sake? Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest that Julie Williams is a busy bee in Salem, still an integral part of the Peacock soap's storylines. Her portrayer, Susan Seaforth Hayes, took a break from the daytime drama to reunite with an old friend and offer a grand send-off for their next chapter. She documented it all on social media, much to her fans' delight. Susan hopped on Instagram and posted a photo from a breakfast she had at Art's Deli with current castmate Suzanne Rogers, as well as former Days in Bold and the beautiful alum, Susan Flannery. Flannery played Laura Spencer Horton on DOOL from 1966 to 1975, and most fans remember her as Stephanie Forrester from B&B, a character she played from 1987 to 2012, returning for a very brief stint in 2018. Beside the current photo was a flashback photo of all three ladies in their younger years, in Salem. Susan's caption began with, "Three Susies have breakfast at Art's Deli." She added, "The occasion, Susan Flannery, one of the great ladies of daytime or anywhere she turns up, is moving to Australia." She also states, "Flannery was a beloved mentor and pal to Suzanne and me in our early Salem days together. Laughs, love, tears, hugs, just like Salem. We will miss her." Hayes included the hashtags #Susan Flannery, #Susan Hayes, #Suzanne Rogers. Fans were quick to enter the conversation, marveling at the daytime legends. Lauralee Bell, The Young and the Restless's Christine Blair, chimed in by adding a heart emoji with 3 stars, while DOOL's Greg Rickhart, who plays Leo Stark, wrote, "Incredible, but the..." Meanwhile, X-Day's castmate, Kevin Spurtas, who played Dr. Craig Wesley, wrote, "Glorious," and Tracy E. Bregman, the YNR's Lauren Fenmore, commented with, "OMG amazing! On behalf of everyone here, we want to wish Susan Flannery all the best in Australia as she enters a new chapter in her life. Comment your congratulations below. Watch your favorite Peacock soap daily, and check out this site often for the best Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates." He may play Javi on Peacock's Days of Our Lives, but viewers are about to see a whole lot more of Al Calderon on NBC. On July 29th, our sister site, Deadline, learned exclusively that the Salem actor has landed a role on Brilliant Minds. The medical drama, which was last seen in January, will return with its Season 2 premiere in September, and from the sounds of it, his character is going to be front and center in the drama. So, how will Calderon fit into the mix, and will it affect his status on the soap? A spokesperson from the show told Soaps.com, "We do not comment on the contract status of our actors, but fans should not worry. Al Calderon's Javi is alive and well in Salem." However, Deadline later learned on July 30th that Calderone will, in fact, be leaving the role, and Days of Our Lives will be recasting Javi. Since the show tapes so far in advance, viewers will continue to see Calderone in the role through May 2026. Of his time on the soap, Calderone posted an Instagram story and stated, "My time on Days of Our Lives has been truly life-changing." He went on to express, "I'm endlessly grateful to the cast, crew, and creatives who made me feel seen, valued, and part of a legacy family. I'll carry to love, lessons, and memories with me on every journey I go on. While I'm just a small grain of sand, I'm just happy I got to pass through the hourglass. As my mom used to tell me, it's not goodbye, just see you later. I love you forever." Days of Our Lives. As for Brilliant Minds, fans can expect to see him join fellow series regulars Brian Altimus and John Clarence Stewart as he steps into the role of Nurse Scotty Silva, who runs the hospital and looks good doing it. The character is said to know all of the ins and outs of everything, and everything there is to know about everyone at the hospital, all the while being charming, warm, and funny, which is why he's often referred to as the Mayor of Bronx General. For those who have yet to tune in to the show, Brilliant Minds was inspired by author and physician Oliver Sacks' life and work and surrounds neurologist Dr. Oliver Wolf, played by Zachary Quinto, and his team of interns as they research the human mind and in turn find ways to deal with their own mental health and relationships. Two characters butt heads, while there's drama for one family, and a secret meeting is held by two so-called rivals. What's set to go down on Thursday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, August 7th imply that Steve Johnson and Alex Kyriakis will butt heads. It sounds like this might have to do with Stephanie Johnson, or the little tidbit of information that Steve found out about Alex. Will he confront his daughter's boyfriend about his past arrest? Fans will have to tune in to find out. In other news, Gabby Hernandez will open up to Xander Kyriakis. However, is this genuine or part of her plan to manipulate him? Speaking of Gabby's plan, her partner in crime, Tony DiMera, will have a conversation with his wife, Anna DiMera, about his late father. Anna will point out how Susan Banks is claiming that Stefano DiMera is still alive, but it feels like Tony may fluff off Susan's claims, even though he knows something. Is Stefano still alive? Only time will tell. Speaking of the DiMeras, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday note that Belle Black will have a secret meeting with EJ DiMera, and it looks like a trap is being set for Belle. EJ will do something ruthless as the days go by, so it sounds like he'll attempt to convince the judge to replace Belle as she's compromised. Will he video their secret meeting to prove Belle isn't being professional? Lastly, Johnny DiMera will admit his worries about the trial to his wife, Chanel DiMera. Is Johnny more concerned than he is showing? Days of Our Lives spoilers are in for Friday, August 8th, 2025. Fans can expect Belle Black to blow up at EJ DiMera. Gabby Hernandez tries to pry intel from Xander Cook Kyriakis. Meanwhile, Sarah Horton Kyriakis shocks Brady Black. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the Peacock soap opera. Let's begin with Gabby, who is busy trying to charm Xander into giving her information. However, it seems like Xander might be onto her. There was something about the way Xander's face looked when he told her if she shot EJ, then she would have 1,000 times his respect. Instead of answering, Gabby cleverly said she pleads the fifth. However, since Gabby targets Philip Kyriakis next, she must not get the intel she needs for Tony DiMera. Over at the courthouse, Belle will blow up at EJ. When the trial wasn't going the way that EJ wanted, he pulled out an ace. The male attorney prompted Johnny DiMera to tell the courtroom what dynamic he had with Belle. That is when Johnny had no choice but to say Belle and EJ are in a relationship. Then, EJ used that bombshell to get Johnny off the hook. However, with the Attorney General's office watching this trial, Belle could face more consequences. That could prompt Belle to fly into a rage. Days of Our Lives spoilers for tomorrow's episode reveal that Marlena Evans will comfort Johnny. This whole trial was one big miss. In Belle's defense, she did try to recuse herself from the case, but Paulina Price said it was already too late. Back to Johnny, he will get some comfort from his grandmother. Fans will also see Sarah shock Brady. This might be after their unexpected kiss in front of Xander and Gabby. Afterward, Sarah might apologize for blindsiding Brady that way. Of course, he will totally understand, but could also admit the kiss was nice. We know that they do try a romance between Sarah and Brady, but will it really last? Over with Chad DiMera, he spends time taking care of Kat Green. It sounds like she gets injured, and Chad is nice enough to tend to her. With Kat working a case for the ECA, as well as having feelings for Chad, this could get even messier. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Friday, August 8th, 2025?